I was sent an article about query counting how many search terms you are ranking for each month with SEO on Google. So I was sent this article and I want to make a reaction video, a reaction podcast to it, because it was one of the dumbest things I've ever read. It seemed like an SEO trying to justify his job to his clients, but it sounded smart. And if you are not very experienced with SEO, you might actually think, oh, this is valid. And I want to break this down because I think this is an SEO myth. That query counting is valid is an SEO myth, and it's not. It's mostly not. There are some nuanced points. I'm going to touch on those. This article is called 5 Reasons Why You Should Count Queries in Search Console. The subheading is Query Counting Reveals What Clicks and Impressions Can't. Learn how this hidden SEO metric measures your site's true topical authority, validates content pruning, and transforms performance analysis. Before I start, I'm not knocking the person who wrote this, but I want to debunk the idea because I think this is an example of getting lost in the weeds with marketing. It's focusing on the wrong things, optimizing for the wrong things, wasting your time, wasting your precious time and resources on things that don't drive the needle. To me, that's what this article is. So the article starts and it has an AI written intro, and that's immediately a bad sign. It's lazy. I actually almost clicked off. I could just discern, you could just tell. Most people can discern AI writing. I could tell right away. AI writing deteriorates trust. It makes people not want to read. It makes people think the content is unoriginal or bad. It lacks voice. It lacks feeling. It lacks emotion. I mean, if you're doing it for SEO, it will increase your bounce rates a lot of the time. If you're trying to rank in a competitive niche and you're going against lots of well-optimized articles, you're going to have trouble against the human written ones. If you're in a niche that's not competitive, or if you're going after queries that are not that competitive, it can work. However, as I talked about with Bill Hartzer, this crazy SEO veteran who came on the podcast last week, I believe that Google is going to put in AI detection soon, and lots of sites that are spamming AI-generated text will just get completely hit. Or at the very least, having lots of AI-generated pages can decrease the overall content quality score of a website and just reduce its abilities to rank well in the future. But that's another topic. I personally am not a fan of AI written text. I really just think a lot of it is so bad. I'm not saying it doesn't rank. I make lots of podcasts about how it does rank for now. For now, it will rank really well. But, this article was specifically written to be shared with people in the industry too. And it's just, if you're writing something, it's like, imagine if my newsletter was written by AI. That would be terrible. I would have so many unsubscribes. I would have barely anybody reading it. And the people who did read it, they probably wouldn't be very smart. So if you're trying to write something for people in your field or your clients or whatever, I would recommend not using AI. Lots of people can tell unless you're very savvy and you know what you're doing. And if you know what you're doing, go ahead. All right. So this is what query counting is. I got a little bit distracted with that. This is what query counting is. Each month, you can go to Google Search Console and do this. You just export all of your queries from Google Search Console. If you're actually in the Google Search Console interface, really easy. You just go to search results in the left sidebar, filter for 28 days, hit export. It'll give you a zip file. And within this zip file, there will be a bunch of CSVs. One of those is for queries, and you just count how many queries you're ranking for, how many rows. This article even advises counting queries that have 0 clicks. So you could do that. There are lots of SEO tools that do this. SEMrush, for example, will show how many keywords a site is ranking for over time, and it does this for free. It's just Google Search Console will be a lot more precise. So you use it for your own site. But if you want to see for other websites, you can use SEMrush. It literally for free will show you how many keywords a website is ranking for over time and in what position the keywords are. Top 3, 4 through 10, 11 through 20, etc. So now we start getting into the article. There's 5 reasons for query counting. And honestly, there are some nuanced reasons to do it. There are some actual real reasons to do it. But the main point is invalid. The main point of why you should count queries is invalid, and it really seemed like an SEO trying to justify his job. Before I say what the main point is, I want to touch upon these nuanced points on the nuanced reasons why it could actually be useful. So here's an example, and this is from the article. A client completed a site migration, and while their query count remained stable, their clicks dropped significantly. After investigating, we discovered that they had lost site links and branded search results during the domain transfer. The diagnosis would have been nearly impossible without query counting data. So you're diagnosing an issue there. That actually makes sense. This use case, this nuanced use case makes sense. Another one is validating content pruning and keyword cannibalization fixes. Keyword cannibalization, that is when you have a page on your website ranking for one of your keywords above the page that you actually want to rank for that keyword. It's when you don't have the best page on your site ranking for a keyword. And so you want to make sure that your pages are ranking, your best pages are ranking for the correct keywords. So just an example off the top of my head, maybe you have 2 pages on your site, you sell kitchenware, you have 2 pages on your site about frying pans, and you're targeting the keyword best frying pan. And you actually have a page that ranks best frying pans, and you put yourself at number 1, and you want that page to rank number 1 because it will get you more conversions. But you found that another page on your site is ranking for best frying pans, and that page is not designed to convert visitors to purchasers. So you want this other page to rank. That's keyword cannibalization. So this article says if you remove a page and your query count drops significantly, you've likely made a mistake. That content was bringing in unique queries. If query count remains stable after removal, you've successfully consolidated without losing visibility. That's kind of valid, but it also depends on why you're removing the content, because maybe you just found that this content isn't relevant to your niche or to your brand. That touches upon the main points of this article. And the main points is that query counting shows that you are increasing your visibility. If your queries are going up, your visibility is increasing. That's kind of the crux of this article. It works for local SEO. You're getting into new geographic areas. It's just good for overall SEO that you're getting more queries. You can understand the quality of your query growth. And I disagree with so much of this. First of all, oh my God, HubSpot, I saw in the past was ranking for keywords around porn, just because HubSpot was a high domain authority site, has lots of content on it, lots of top of funnel content. And I don't know, there was a mention of porn in an article. It wasn't actually showing porn or linking to porn. It was like a type of fetish or something. But anyway, HubSpot ranked for these keywords completely unrelated to its business. And it's very often that a website will rank for keywords completely unrelated to its business, keywords that don't bring conversions, or if they do bring conversions, they're low quality people who are not actually going to turn into purchasers. Maybe they're conversions to an email list who are never going to purchase. It is really so often that a website will rank for unrelated queries. And it's like maybe your visibility is going up with queries, and that's just queries. But what kind of visibility is that? Is it qualified or is it not qualified? And that's why in marketing, you have the term qualified. It means you're bringing in the right people. Literally, a qualified visitor is a visitor who is more likely to take a meaningful action on your site. That's what you want. You want qualified. So how about looking at clicks instead of queries? That's actually a lot better, because this advises counting queries that have zero search volume, literally according to Google Search Console. This isn't according to an SEO tool that is estimating search volume that could have it wrong. This is according to Google Search Console's data showing queries that have zero click volume for the month. Excuse me, I meant to say click volume. That have zero click volume for the month. These could be seasonal keywords, and there could be months where they get clicks, but just look at your clicks over time and not your queries over time. So that's number one. Like ranking for lots of queries and not getting any clicks, who cares? Unless it's one of those nuanced points. You want to be getting clicks. You want people going to your site. That's number one. But even more so, you want to make money. You want these clicks to convert into signups who will then purchase, or just directly into people who will purchase. So what should you actually be looking at instead of counting queries? You should be looking at clicks and revenue. And the thing is, even if you are completely sticking, like all the content on your site is completely sticking to your niche, it will still rank for lots of unrelated things. So you want to pay attention to clicks and more so to revenue. And to rankings. Look at how well your specific SEO pages are ranking for their queries. That will tell you maybe you're targeting the wrong queries too. I always advise targeting bottom of funnel queries, bottom of funnel keywords. A query is the same thing as a keyword. Targeting bottom of funnel keywords because these are people who are more likely to actually take action, who are actually more likely to convert, to purchase, or to sign up. And maybe you'll find that when you see what you're ranking for, and not just how many things you're ranking for, when you see what you're ranking for, you were going after the wrong keywords all along. That's why you pay attention to revenue. That's why you pay attention to conversions into revenue. So one of my SEO clients in the past, and this was when I was actually doing contractor work, he said he wanted to see how well the SEO pages were working for his business, how much money he was actually making from these SEO pages. He didn't trust the tracking, and he was running lots of paid ads, lots of campaigns with paid ads. He just completely turned off his paid ads campaigns, and he found that his revenue didn't change. In fact, he just stopped running paid ads. He's like, I was making everything from SEO, and I didn't even know what I was doing with paid ads like I thought I did, and I'm going to need to hire a professional for paid ads, and I was just wasting money on paid ads because the SEO was killing it. But that's what you want to look at. You want to look at how much money you're making from SEO. And if you're an SEO who's trying to justify your job, say, well, the SEO pages are bringing in this much money. Or maybe you could say, okay, you know what? We are getting rankings, we're getting results, but they're not the right results, but we're learning that at least. So let's go after these types of keywords now. But overall, counting queries is just, it seems to me like one of the dumbest things, one of the biggest time wasters in SEO. And there are so many time wasters in SEO, little minutia activities that don't do anything, that are just SEOs trying to fool clients, which is very common in this industry. It is so common in search engine optimization. SEO consultants, SEO contractors, SEO agencies will try to fool their clients into giving them money when they shouldn't be getting money. And that's why they sell things like, oh, you need super high site speed optimization scores. You need to score really well on page speed insights, when actually you should just be looking at how fast is this site for me, for the people around me, for people in other locations? Is it all working properly for all the people that we're testing with? Because like I've said so many times in the show, page speed insights, very misleading. You could have a site that looks fast on page speed insights, but it's not working properly when actual people are using it, and that's very common. Or, and you see this so many times, a site that has really bad scores from page speed insights, but actually for the users, for the visitors, it's still fast, or at least it's fast enough, and it's ranking for lots of keywords. And it's just optimizing for the wrong thing. Don't optimize for what page speed insights tells you, optimize for how fast is the site in reality. So what should you optimize for? If you're not counting queries, optimize for clicks, optimize for the right clicks, and optimize for making money with SEO. That's my advice to you. That's my counter to the validity of query counting as an SEO activity. And that is all that I got for you on episode 614 of The Edward Show. I'm losing count now. 614 days in a row doing this podcast. 614. Crazy. Make some money with SEO. Don't waste time on the bad activities. I believe in you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.